I was nervous as a father could be. It is the first time I let my little girl go from house to house by herself. Of course, I'm not too far behind, just to keep an eye out. My little girl is a fairy princess. She looks so cute, almost as beautiful as her mother. All of the other kids are dressed up, but no one looks as good as my little one. As we walk down the street, I keep a watchful eye as my girl runs from house to house, praying that the candy hasn't run out. Oh no, here comes that Mrs. Johnson's house. When is her family going to put her in a home? She is so old. Heck, she has lived there since I was a kid out on Halloween. That house of hers is such a nightmare. I don't know when the last time the grass has been cut. It's almost to my little girl's waist. That rickety old fence is leaning into the neighbor's yard, and half of it is broken off. It needs some repairs and a good painting. The front shutters are hanging on by what looks like the last nail put into them, and the screen door won't shut anymore. I think the glass on the top floor window is even busted out. This place is dangerous and a hazard to the neighborhood, a hazard to my little girl. I yelled out for my girl to just skip Miss Johnson's house, but it was too late. She was already inside the front gate. Maybe I let her go too far ahead of me. I don't want to lose her too.
Tonight was the big night. My dad was letting me go door to door all by myself. Well, I guess you could say that. I mean, I could still see him if I looked hard enough. Just close enough, just in case, he would say. Sometimes I think he doesn't trust me. Maybe he is just really protective. Ever since Mom, well, he says I'm too young to understand. I dressed as a fairy princess this year. I've been waiting all year for this night, my big night. I really love how my skirt seems to float effortlessly in the air when I twirl. The sparkles shine and they remind me of the fireworks in July. Dad says I'm the most beautiful fairy princess he has ever seen. That's silly though, because parents can't see fairies. I was having so much fun, I wasn't paying attention. That is when I ended up through the gate in front of her house, Miss Johnson. She lives alone. I wonder if she is just lonely, but everyone seems to think she's a monster. They say she is only able to love her cats, but I have never met her. Her house is scary. The grass is high. I picture slithering snakes crawling unseen, and the fence looks broken and sharp. I swear I hear growling from the bushes. I didn't want to be rude, so I made my way to the door, slowly. When she opened the door, her voice seemed tired, annoyed, and low. She handed me an apple. She must have not realized people handed out candy on Halloween. Silly old lady. Or maybe she just didn't hand out candy because she really is mean and wants to ruin trick-or-treat. I thanked her. My dad would have been happy with my manners. I turned to leave. I swear I saw a ghost in the broken window upstairs. I'm not sure, but just in case, I walk a little faster past the dark areas and growls. I'm just glad Dad was close, just in case.
It's finally here, the best night of the year for a guy like me. While all the other kids are dressed up like fairy princesses, robots, and superheroes, I'm dressed up like the scariest Cyclops you've ever seen. The scarier the costume, the easier it is to steal candy from my unsuspecting victims. Just down the street is my favorite house to set up at. It's some old lady who lives there, I think, but it's perfect for hiding and surprising my clueless victims. The grass is untamed and tall enough that I can hide in the thicket. There are plenty of trees that will provide good camouflage. However, I decide to use the bushes just beside the front door for my home base for the night full of looting on unsuspecting children. The bushes haven't been trimmed in what looks like years, and the light above the front door is busted, which allows me to blend into the darkness. Just as I get to settle down in the bush to wait for my first plunder of the night, this little fairy princess starts up the sidewalk. Mwahaha! This one's gonna be easy. It's almost like taking candy from a baby.
It's that time of the year, the one day of the year I absolutely hate. All those snot-nosed kids walking around dressed from head to toe in their Halloween costumes. I think to myself every year, why do I insist on opening my door for those stinking kids? My light is never on, so I don't know why they even bother to come to my doorstep. My Victorian doors are made of genuine copper, so I can always hear when I have a little hand knocking on my door. My house is the oldest on the block. My granddad built this house when I was a little girl. It has cathedral ceilings, gorgeous chandeliers, a windy staircase, and 4 fireplaces. I loved my granddad. When I was 6 years old, my granddad gave me so much candy for Halloween. I threw up all that candy, ranging from candy corn to milk balls to fine chocolate. It was the worst night of my life. On top of that, my cat Trixie went away that night. That's why I have 8 cats now. My 8 cats remind me of Trixie. I don't feel as lonely with my cats around me. I have hated Halloween since I was 6 years old. When those brats come knocking on my door, I only give them apples. Candy is something children should never eat, trust me. All of a sudden, I heard a knock on my copper door. There stood a little ungrateful brat with fairy wings. I said to her, "Here's an apple. Now run along." She said thanks. I then abruptly slammed the door. After I slammed the door, I realized how cruel I was to what I thought was an ungrateful little brat, but a precious, sweet little fairy princess. That little girl made me realize there are polite kids out there who really do appreciate my apples. From now on, I will be Miss Nice, Miss Johnson, to all the kids on Halloween night, and maybe, just maybe, I will hand out candy.